Hello, this is Taha.
And this is Anaina.
This is Movie Masala.
And we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing
Anora, the new Sean Baker film.
Fucking cool, Yvonne. Now. Okay, Jesus, fuck.
That's crazy.
Fuck.
I am so
Put it on speaker.
fucked. I am so fucked.
Where's your phone?
Hold on, man. Just don't break anything, all right?
Call him.
Fuck.
Put it on speaker.
There you go. There you go. Just don't
He's
break
not gonna
anything.
answer the phone. He's not gonna answer. I know. He's not gonna fucking answer. Where's his other friends?
Is he with Alex?
Alex is working.
First of all, this film is about a sex worker, Annie, played by Mickey Madison, who encounters this Russian billionaire's son, oligarch's son, Vanya, played by Mark Eisenstein. I hope that was right.
I simultaneously have a lot of thoughts and not many thoughts either. Which is strange for a film that got the Palme d'Or
Yes.
at Cannes this year. Just off the bat though, Sean Baker, controversial as fuck guy. Do not like that guy. He has said some creepy stuff, done some creepy stuff, and expressed Zionist-ish views, which we're not a fan of here.
We are not a fan of that here.
We're here to discuss his new movie. But a lot of the stuff I will say will come from a hatred of Sean Baker. Not a
Okay.
hatred, sorry, a dislike of Sean Baker.
As a person, yes, fair enough. I have always been like, yeah, feels like a weirdish dude. Although I have always liked his films.
Oh, his films are fine. His films are great. I mean, we watched Tangerine for uni in our first year, and I absolutely love it. I like screen it for stuff if I could. The Florida Project is known to be great. I mean, he's
I
known
love
to
the
do
Florida
some good.
Project.
He's known as the king of independent filmmaking, which brings me to my first point. This is not an independent film.
Oh.
No matter how much you try to sell it to me as an independent film, the minute you have Universal Studios on you, you cease to become an independent film in my mind. Even if Universal Studios is the one who's allowing you to be put on cinemas. So, independent filmmaking, you may have done it in the past, but Anora is not an indie film.
I think it also doesn't feel like his other films. It feels like his most heightened film that he's ever made. And not because it's surreal, but purely because of the film. It's his least grounded film in a way.
100%. He's doing a screwball comedy. And the marker of a screwball comedy is there, right? At least in the second act of
Yes.
the film, where there's a chase going and they're all like throwing insults and jokes at each other, and there's a lot of frustration, and there's joke after joke after joke after joke. So he does the genre well. But where a screwball comedy pulls back at the end is where it gives you the heart of the film.
Mm-hmm.
And the heart of the film is supposed to be Anora. But I did not feel that the ending did any justice to her.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that she may have finally expressed an emotion, released her frustration. But it feels like it was done from Sean Baker's gaze on that release is voyeuristic and not empathetic enough. I mean, you can say all you want that he loves Anora or he loves Annie as a character, but he doesn't seem to have any real empathy or emotions for her, because I don't understand why I'm supposed to feel any empathy or emotion for her. But I do, and it's only because of Mickey Madison's performance.
Yeah, in order to contextualize the ending, let's start with how this film kind of starts. So yeah, after she meets him, there's like this whole whirlwind romance, which kind of follows a whirlwind of chaos once things start to break down. And 100%, Mickey Madison is exemplary in this role.
She is a brilliant actor. I have seen her in the very first thing that she did as an actor, which is this TV series called Better Things. And she was amazing in that. Amazing. The way she is able to shapeshift into different characters, and the way she plays both Anora and Annie. So Anora is basically Annie's real name, just to give context. And Annie does not like calling herself Anora because it is so distant from the personality and character she has built for herself as a sex worker. But Anora is in there, right? This young, sweet girl who speaks Russian because she learnt it because her grandmother could not speak English.
Which is also true for Mickey Madison in real life.
Exactly. So the line between Annie and Anora is very, very thin. And it is played brilliantly by Mikey Madison. Like, you can see the shift in her stance and in her posture whenever she goes out of Annie into Anora, out of Anora into Annie.
100%. Like, I think she's both incredibly entertaining when she needs to be and so emotionally relatable when she needs to be. Like, when you're talking about that switch, there is one specific scene that stuck with me when she is with Vanya and his friends, and she clocks that, oh, she could change her life fully through this. And she does this just small little reaction to a significant comment. And I think that part stuck with me, and in such a good way that it recontextualizes or like adds additional context to every single thing in the film. And like to the very end, spoilers, I'm always on the edge of like, I don't think she ever really loved him. To some extent, she also was playing this part because she wants to escape that life and find this better one. And so in the end, when that release comes, like you're saying, it feels kind of like a double thing of like, did she genuinely feel that she tricked herself into believing that Cinderella story actually happened, and she is sad that she kind of believed her own lies, or is she just sad that this entire plot fell down and now she has to go back to this?
I do agree that the ending is double fold in the sense that she has lost two things. One being a better life, the second being her ability to trust people. And we never know which one she's mourning, which is my issue. I don't want a film to tell me what to think, but I want a film to give me some indication of what I'm supposed to think, right? Because I wouldn't judge Annie for mourning either. I love Annie as a character. I love Anora as a character. But a film has to be empathetic and loving of its own character before expecting other people to do the same. So my only thought as soon as I left the movie was, if Mikey Madison was not in this movie, I would have disliked it so much more.
Yeah, fair enough. Like you said, I think the issue with this film is the reason I don't think it connects as much as I feel other Sean Baker films connect with me is because it never really makes you understand Annie's stake. Like you said, it never invests time in Annie's backstory in a sense. So you never really fully understand what she's lost. Like, so it could be fine to say that there's a double fold nature, or like even to leave you guessing on what she truly is grieving, but give you some actual indication on the part she is giving. Because before the film starts, you're like, she's, yes, a sex worker, but you never see her actively like struggling in any significant way. Like, for example, Florida Project, for example, Tangerine. These films show you the character struggling. Even Red Rocket, where the main character is in some way an antagonist, you still see him more realized and struggling. And you see the stakes for him, which you just don't hear.
And that's my issue with Sean Baker being like known as this hero of depicting a nuanced sex worker. He has a lot of characters who are sex workers in a lot of his films.
Mm-hmm.
And he has done that character well previously. It's just in this film, it seemed lost on me. In the sense that he does tell us, and he doesn't need to tell us, we know that sex workers are real human beings who have every array of emotions, and the work that they do is work. At the end of the day, the work that they do is work.
Yeah, and to some credit to this film, I don't think it ever acts like Annie is being saved by Vanya, which I think it's a good point. And I think that's just partly because he's done this character so many times, he knows do not fall into the trappings of like male character saves sex worker from like sex work in some way.
Exactly. But my problem with his depiction of sex work is that it feels grimy. The camera does not feel sleazy or sexualizing, but the way that he frames it feels grimy in a way that makes you ultimately realize that he is a man.
It's a male gaze.
It's a male gaze. He is a man looking at women doing sex work to other men. He does not sympathize with the other men, but I don't know how to put this, but it just, something about it feels icky.
Yeah, I understand.
And depicting sex work is a difficult thing to do. Don't do it if you do not know where to take it forward in this particular story.
It feels like you bit off more than you can chew. Well, previously you didn't.
Exactly. Because, like you said, bringing it back to the first thing that you said, this film is so up in the air.
Yeah.
There's nothing grounded about it.
I don't think there's any other Sean Baker film where the characters even remotely come close to flying in a private plane to Vegas.
Exactly. And the thing is, if there's nothing grounded in the film, then your depiction of sex work isn't going to be grounded either.
Fair.
And it has to be grounded for this to seem like you are understanding of the fact that this is something that is people's reality.
Yeah, 100%. I want to come back to the other cast as well. Mark, like I said, also the three but
Bodyguard.
yeah, let's call them the three Russian bodyguards, the gang of Igor, Gurnik, and Toros. I think they're also really fun.
They are hilarious. I love the three of them so much. Gernik, my favorite.
I also feel while Igor is not really necessarily ever a hero, I do feel the chemistry between him and Anora, or like the moments between them, are phrased in a very like genuine manner. Like I'm never looking at him being like, yeah, you didn't chain her or like tie her up and that wasn't a real thing. I'm like, yeah, you did that and that was kind of messed up. But also, I feel you don't hate her in any meaningful way. You in your head think you're still a nice person and are trying to do the good thing, and you're kind of trying to make up for your mistakes along the way. And I think his acting also was really good in the small parts that he played as well. Again, Sean Baker directed and wrote this film and still does a lot of choices that I feel are well done. But again, I think as in all of his films, his biggest role or his perhaps most influential role is him as a casting director. So like casting Mickey Madison is a great choice. Mike Eisenstein, he's a proper Russian actor. Also, like his entire dialogue and everything feels 100% like someone his age with his background would talk like. He talks about how he got the person who played Igor. He saw him in his previous film when Red Rocket premiered at Cannes. So I feel his casting is still, again, really good, and how he does it really plays super well into his films. Again, those and all of that still feels very much authentic. I still personally overall liked the film. I liked even its second act screwball comedy that they again Mikey Madison makes those scenes work so well. It's a continuous yelling contest and it's done so well.
The jokes land beautifully. And yeah, I agree. I did not hate this film. I don't even majorly dislike it. I just see some systemic issues in the way that it is made and represented. Overall, as a concept, it's brilliant.
Yeah. Also, lastly, I wanted to shout out his cinematographer, Drew Daniels, because I think there's a lot of really well done shots in this film. Even when they're talking, when you're going through this montage, a lot of these scenes are shot really well. Drew Daniels has also done Red Rocket, and another film that I also liked, whose cinematography was really wonderful, was Waves, who also played with aspect ratios really cool. I thought that was really fun, so I just wanted to shout him off because I think there's a lot of like scenes, frames where he captures these really small flares in all of his actors really well. I think that's incredibly well done.
And like going back to what I said about the camera never feeling sleazy, that's a credit on him, that the way he shot it.
Yeah, I can't really pinpoint exactly where it goes wrong. I think like you mentioned, it's more systemic. There are more multiple small things that add up and make Anora feel less developed as a character than honestly his other work, which he's done better, which is more surprising. That's why I was like, really, this film is the darling of fans, and this is the film people are not shutting up about when he's done other better stuff.
On that note, I'm very interested to see how this is going to do on the mainstream award circuit.
I don't think, honestly, that the criticisms we laid at this film are going to stop it from being. But I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Sometimes people actually pick up on them and it does like stop it, and sometimes nothing happens.
I have no faith in the mainstream film industry.
Fair enough. Well, with that, this has been another episode of Movie Masala. This podcast is produced independently by us. Musical assets from Pixabay. Thank you for watching and hope you tune in again next time.
Bye-bye.